Let's bring in California Congressman Kevin Kiley. Congressman, what do you say to a former member of Congress, now the LA Mayor, Karen Bass, about her comments on those ICE raids last night?
Her comments and Governor Newsom's are the height of irresponsibility. What we're looking at here is standard targeted immigration enforcement. They're looking for folks who have criminal convictions or who have existing deportation orders. This has been done by ICE for a long time across different administrations. President Obama deported millions of people. And so what exactly are they saying ICE should do if it needs to find these people? Actually, one good idea, one good change is if they stop being a sanctuary city and California stop being a sanctuary state, then you could actually have immigration authorities take custody of people under the least disruptive and safest of circumstances, which is when they are already in custody, subject to a detainer. But no, California insists on being a sanctuary state. LA insists on getting extra credit and making itself a sanctuary city on top of being a sanctuary state. And then they complain when ICE has to go out and actually find people in the community.
So as long as California is a sanctuary state and LA is a sanctuary city, isn't this kind of battling going to continue?
Well, that's right, is that when they refuse to to respect a detainer request or to cooperate with federal immigration authorities, and they say, well, you're on your own, and they are trying to find someone who poses a danger to public safety, then they have to find them in the community. And ICE is trying to do this in the least disruptive, most targeted way. But when you have protesters who are showing up and who are actively interfering with them, who are physically blocking them, and who perhaps worst of all are doing so seemingly with the encouragement and the blessing of the likes of the mayor and the governor, that makes things a lot more difficult. And these sort of scenes that we're seeing right now are entirely a result of those who have chosen to behave in a lawless manner.
Let's turn our attention to the battle going on between the White House and Harvard University. The Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, says that Harvard is feeling the pressure. Listen.
I think we're seeing progress because we are putting these measures in place, and we're saying we're putting teeth behind what we're looking at.
Yeah, the White House is putting teeth behind its proposals or its desires, I guess you could say, for Harvard. Is it appropriate, do you think?
It's entirely appropriate, and it's something that the Biden administration refused to do. I mean, I think it's underappreciated just how horrific things were on that campus, and in many ways continue to be. I mean, you had Jewish students who were afraid to even leave their dorms. When they did, they'd be physically attacked, they'd be harassed. You'd have pro-Hamas thugs that would follow them around on campus, follow them to class, monitor their movements. Meanwhile, the administration would, rather than protect these students, would cater to their tormentors. And so when you see something like this happen on a college campus, it reflects a fundamental sickness with that university. And frankly, Harvard has not come anywhere close to recognizing that and recognizing its need to reform, which is why the administration has had to act aggressively to make those sort of changes. And so I'm hopeful that the university will see that it's in its best interest, in the interest of its students, and the interest of its country, to return to the principles that have guided American higher education for much of our history and have been so important towards making us the greatest country in the world. But at this point in time, unfortunately, many universities like Harvard have become liabilities rather than assets for our country.
Harvard is fighting back in court. Here's part of what they had to say in their filing against the Department of Homeland Security. They write, the president's actions thus are not undertaken to protect the interests of the United States, but instead to pursue a government vendetta against Harvard. Is this a vendetta?
Absolutely not. And frankly, that statement I find to be outrageous. We've had students at Harvard, Jewish students, come in and testify before our committees who have told us about the horrors that they were first forced to endure and how the administration was unwilling to protect them. And so for Harvard to now try to claim the high ground on anything is frankly, unbelievable. And I think that at this point in time, the problem is the university is not recognizing its need to reform. And, the thing about Harvard throughout its history is often what happens on that campus has spread to the rest of higher education. And then sometimes those things spread to the rest of the country, like censorship, like anti-Semitism, like DUI. So this is a battle not just to reform this one university. It's a battle to put American higher education on a fundamentally different trajectory and to thereby put our country on a different trajectory as well.
Let's talk about elementary education. You're going to be leading some hearings next week on screen time in schools in this country. And the statistics are really pretty disturbing, if you ask me. I mean, some parents might not think this is a problem, but these are the numbers. Kids under 2 years old are spending an hour and 2 minutes looking at phones and iPads and things like that. From 2 to 4 years, 2 hours and 8 minutes a day. And 5 to 8 year olds are spending almost 3.5 hours a day on average on their phones. Congressman, what do we do about this? What do you say about that?
Yeah, it's a big problem, which is why I'm the chair of the K-12 education subcommittee. It's why we're convening this hearing to look at how the issue is being handled by schools across the country in a way that works for parents and teachers and students. But those numbers you just showed are absolutely shocking. And when you look at adolescents, we're talking over 8 hours per day of screen time. And so remember, phones are a pretty, recent invention. And so you didn't have this for the vast majority of modern history,
right.
Even. And yet suddenly now you have young people who are spending a pretty good portion of their waking hours looking at this small screen. And so we know that it's rewiring their brain when it comes to these dopamine hits. We know that it's causing eye problems and neck problems and problems with posture. And when it comes to education, we know that the effects have been to reduce student retention, that causes distractions, that it leads to all kinds of mental health issues as well. And we haven't come anywhere close to, I think, really getting our minds around the full scope of the problem here. So I'm hopeful that this hearing, by highlighting what some schools are doing, what's been working, what hasn't been working, will provide us an opportunity to get things on the right track.
There are about a dozen states that are either banning or severely limiting the use of phones in schools. Really across the country, starting in California all the way over to Virginia and South Carolina. So perhaps other states will take on that battle. California Congressman Kevin Kiley will be watching that hearing this week. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.